Hey, welcome back to Between Screenings after a slightly extended Christmas break. It's now 2026. How are you, Tom? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Neil. I'm very well. Happy to talk about movies. I'm very excited for this year and
Well,
all
it's
the
been a
cinema ahead of us.
yes. I think it's going to be a big year. 2025 was meant to be survive till 25 for the film industry, and that was meant to be the year that the film industry came booming back. Didn't quite happen. Didn't quite get to 9 billion at the domestic box office over in the States, which has taken up a lot of column inches. But we're hopeful for this year. There's some blockbusters coming out. We've got our first Star Wars movie in a long time. Nolan's back. We've got Super Mario Brothers are back. So we're hoping that this is going to be a big year at the box office. But we've also got, in the first quarter of this year, we've got a bonanza of indie films coming out ahead of BAFTAs and Oscars. So yeah, it's a busy time. Did you see anything particularly exciting over Christmas?
I revisited some old favorites. Die Hard, The Holdovers, which has become a modern classic in my family's eyes. It goes on every Christmas. This year, we decided to watch it with my fiance's sister, who hadn't seen it for the first time, and we paused it halfway through because it's Christmas. You know, we need to top up our glasses, crack open a box of roses, all that fun stuff. And while I went upstairs to the loo, she apparently asked Emily, when does the action start? And she was like, what do you mean? And she presumed it was an action movie the entire time. And we had got to the bit where all the boys had left, to go skiing. And she presumed, right, well, the school's going to get invaded now or something. No. And we were like, no, this is a really quiet drama. Yeah. She said, though, 5 stars, really enjoyed it. So,
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Paul Giamatti in an action movie.
maybe it's a bold new career move for him, though. My sister-in-law would love to see Paul. I know you're listening. My sister-in-law Megan would love to see it. She thinks you've got the chops.
Nice. Nice. I mean, that would be, I suppose Bob Odenkirk's gone action in his Nobody films. So,
Yeah, and one of them is good. So
well, it did also cause him to have a heart attack, I think.
well, yeah, yeah. So yeah, maybe not. But no, in terms of new stuff, I was catching up on some stuff that I'd missed this year. So I saw F1, which you think I've made a huge mistake on, Neil, don't you?
Yes. So F1, when F1 came out, I knew I definitely wanted to watch it, but I knew it was the sort of film you need to go and see on the biggest screen possible. So I went with my brother and my father-in-law, and we watched it on the super screen at my local Cineworld, the biggest screen possible, absolutely mad booming sound, and it was fantastic. And it's one of those films where I really enjoyed it. I haven't revisited it on the small screen yet. I'm able to. It's on Apple TV now. And it is a great film, but I kind of feel like without that immersion I just think the extra layer of the immersion of the huge screen for the F1 race scenes is needed, because it was quite an experience in cinema.
So I'm really gutted that I didn't see it in the cinema, because the first thing I thought when we were watching that first, is it Demolition Derby it opens with
Yeah,
Brad
Brad Pitt
Pitt?
just driving like a numpty on a beach or something, probably.
Yeah, it's one of that, like, and I was like, oh, I bet this sounded incredible in the cinema, and we have messed up by not watching it in the biggest screen possible. Also, still really enjoyed it. I mean, it is Top Gun Maverick, but what if it was set in a car this time? And I look forward to the sequel, to whatever the director does next. Top Gun on a train, maybe.
Well, there is rumors. There's rumors of Days of Thunder F1 crossover.
Oh, okay. I mean, we'll see. But no, I enjoyed F1, even though I am willing to admit it would probably be more fun on a big screen. And I also watched Pillion, which I found really quite intense, but really enjoyed. I'm glad we didn't watch it with Emily's family while we were there for Christmas. I do not think that's the type of thing I want to watch while sat with my future father-in-law. But some sensational performances, one of those movies that stays with you after you've seen it. Really quite haunting in a lot of ways. A real powerful in look, like relationships and the way, and a side of life you don't necessarily think about an awful lot, or certainly I don't necessarily.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I read some stuff from the author who wrote the book originally, and he said it's nothing. It's nothing like his book. Like it maybe takes bits of the book, but part of what he was trying to write was just like the most um, outrageous thing he could when he was writing it. But also part of it is if that was a heterosexual relationship, and Henry Melling's character was a lady, how would we view that film?
Interesting way of looking at it, because even I felt uncomfortable even watching it as two men, and one of the men is consenting throughout. He quite literally submits to Alexander Skarsgård's demands.
Yep.
I certainly found it uncomfortable at times, and we finished watching the film, I was talking to Emily about it, and we were saying how I like these types of films that in the moment you feel uncomfortable. It leaves you feeling a little bit icky, and you're not sure if what you're watching is good or bad. So I would argue that the film does capture that. Like, at moments you do feel, as I say, there's just this weird perverseness to it. Like, have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it. I think the picnic scene is the worst.
The picnic scene, yeah. I mean, genuinely shocking. And that has reminded me, sorry to pivot, but I have seen another Skarsgård movie as well, which when I was looking at my letterbox to remind me what I had seen, I have seen Sentimental Value as well.
So Daddy
Um,
Skarsgård's film.
Daddy Skarsgård himself, a film about a distant father who's a filmmaker who the mother dies, and he's trying to reunite with his daughters, specifically his younger daughter, who's an aspiring actor who he's always wanted to be in his films, but because they're of the distance between them, she's never been into the idea, and he comes and he's like, I want to make this movie with you. She says no, and he goes and hires someone else to effectively play her, and it's about the fallout of that. A really, really haunting movie, like really, really beautiful. Loved so much about it. However, I am distracted by the fact that my favorite thing about Sentimental Value is the press clips we've got of Alexander and Stellan interviewing each other, and Stellan basically going, I think it's impossible to be a good father. That's Arnie. That isn't Stellan.
That's your generic European accent, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, Euro trash accent that I pulled out of nowhere, apparently. But no, I think it's really good. Obviously, we're a wee bit away from the Oscars, but I'd be interested to see which of the Skarsgårds gets a nod, if either of them do.
I'm not sure. I think Pillion has had a release in the States, I think.
Is it?
So I think Pillion is released in the States in time for awards. I don't know if it will get any awards chatter, but they do. He goes all out in that performance.
Certainly
Not seen
does.
Sentimental Value yet. Definitely want to see Sentimental Value. The other two big ones I watched over Christmas was Avatar, Fire and
Well,
Ash,
yeah, you
which
finally. What did you think?
which again I will only go and see in the cinema. Like I've not watched Avatar or Avatar Way of Water again since watching them with my 3D glasses on in the cinema, because as far as I'm concerned, Martin Scorsese called Marvel films theme park rides. I would say Avatar even more are theme park rides. I'm there for the spectacle. I'm there for the 3D on the big screen. I'm not there for the story.
Well, we can argue till we're blue in the face about Martin Scorsese's opinion on Marvel films, but Marvel films are slightly more coherent, to my mind, than the Avatar movies, which are literally just the same idea again and again and again. It's
Yep.
like Jim Cameron. I love him, but he's essentially, he's found he's found a story he's comfortable with, and he's like, what if I just keep retelling it? Go on, Daniel. I feel like did you enjoy it?
It was escapist nonsense for 3 hours. There were things I really enjoyed about it. I liked the Fire Navi. The whole Fire Navi stuff was great. I think some of the characters don't make any sense. General Quanich or whatever his name is,
Yep.
like he doesn't make any sense. Why is he so devoted? He's now just a memory of that person in a blue avatar body.
Yeah.
Like he I don't understand why he's still got so much loyalty to being a general and being a good military man. It doesn't make any sense. He's gone native as well. Like he makes no sense. But also, Jake Sully should have died about 15 times. They had the opportunity to kill him, but kept deciding not to.
My favorite thing about Quaritch in this movie is he's essentially that friend who's never had a girlfriend, goes to university, and comes back entirely different because he's managed to get a girlfriend while he's out there. And he's like, "What are you on about? I've always been into thrash metal." When he walks into the meeting in the full tribal makeup, I was like, "Oh my god! If your colleague did this, you'd think they were having a mental breakdown." And that's essentially what's happening. He's at a work meeting, and he's come in dressed in a thrash metal t-shirt with his hair backcombed, and everyone's just like, "Leave him alone. He's got a new girlfriend. It's fine." Um, I'm going to be less positive about this than you, which I think is a flip on our normal
Yeah.
vibe, because I tend to like blockbusters. I came out of the cinema. I saw this like a few months ago now. And I came out of the cinema and I was like, that's easily the weakest of them for me. Like I like the fire Navi, like yourself, but I think there's a really good climax in that base. When Jake Sully's escaping,
Yes.
and then it just keeps on going and going, and then the whales are back in it, and then the whole thing ends with a big battle that is essentially the first film, the climax of the first film and the climax of the second film repeated, like glued together. And it's so lazy in that respect. And as I was telling a friend about this, and he was like, "Yeah, but you've got to admit it looks good." And yes, it does. It looks astounding, but so did Way of Water. And I do not think that the minor technical improvements they've made justify this film having such a weak narrative. I can forgive Way of Water for the fact that it is doing the first one again. This is literally just Way of Water. Maybe it looks slightly prettier. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't think many people can tell.
Oh, I wouldn't.
The only
I didn't come out going, "Wow, that looks so much better than the second one." The second one's long enough ago now that I've kind of forgotten how impressed I was by the visuals. Like I can't compare them. I'm not watching them back to back. So yeah, that's not meaningful enough to move the dial.
will say I took a bet with someone, and I was an idiot because I have written several articles on why you should never bet against James Cameron, and I was willing to bet this didn't break a bill.
And it did it in 18 days, Tom.
And it did it in 18 days. But I will say that I am still justified in that it is the lowest grossing Avatar movie ever. It only made $1.1 billion as...
It's not finished yet.
No, exactly. But this year, Avengers Endgame is coming to reclaim its crown because they're going to re-release it before they release Doomsday. So,
Right, fine.
And you said you'd seen another movie.
Yes, I saw the film of 2025, which was Marty Supreme, and what a film it is. Absolutely amazing piece of filmmaking. Chalamet's performance is amazing. I love the PR campaign for it. I love the interviews Chalamet has done talking about it and talking about how great his performance is, like himself talking about how great his performance is, unironically. Yeah, it's just brilliant from start to finish. It's ostensibly a sports movie, but it kind of ends up being a weird sort of period New York gangster adjacent film as well, about a man getting into loads of scrapes to try and realize his dream.
I haven't seen it yet. I do plan on seeing it. It's just
I think Gwyneth Paltrow might get a Best Supporting Actress nom for it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I mean, do you think that this is Timothy's to lose this year then?
I will be based on the other performances there have been this year. I would be surprised if Timothy hasn't got his Oscar in the bag this year. I'll be surprised.
Fair enough. And how have you seen the internet jokes going around about you can tell which of the Safdie brothers was the talented one, which feels really mean.
Which is harsh because I did enjoy. I enjoy, like Smashing Machine wasn't bad. It just wasn't great, and I think that's what sadly they've got to compare themselves to. So this is great. Like this is an all-time great film.
How does it compare to stuff like Uncut Gems and Good Boy? Has it got that sort of same manic, stressful atmosphere throughout, or is it?
It's relatively manic and stressful. It's not it's not on the level of those. But it's pretty manic and stressful all the way through. He needs to basically get some cash so he can go and play ping pong at the big ping pong tournament, and there's no sort of organized US team or anything to send him over there, so he's got to try and raise this cash himself, and he doesn't really have a job, so he's sort of hustling, and then his sort of girlfriend tries to help him and messes up a bit, and it goes from one scrape to another to another to another to another. So one mishap, and then he does something else, and that goes wrong, and then she does something else, and it goes wrong, and so it's stressful in that sense, but not on the level of Uncut Gems. It's not as uncomfortable a watch as that film. It's fun.
I do plan on going to see it. It's on my list. And had Christmas not come along, I would have seen it by now. Damn you, Christmas.
My Christmas film, by the way, the only Christmas film I actually properly sat down and watched this year was Elf again, because my kids are obsessed with it.
So we did 3 Christmas movies over the break. One of them was The Holdovers. One of them was Elf, because you have to watch Elf. And the third was Wake Up Dead Man, which the family watched together. And it got rapturous reviews from the Murray household. Everyone really enjoyed it. I think it's much better on a second watch, because I know I was a little iffy on it. Like, I didn't think it was bad by any means, but I think it's much better that second time when you're free from, your idea. Like, when you know what's coming a little bit, it makes it you freed from that expectation. It's a lot better.
And talking of Josh O'Connor, have you seen the art heist film?
Yes, I have.
The Mastermind,
yes.
sorry, The Mastermind. That's another one I know you've seen.
I did see The Mastermind, and I watched The Mastermind because Emily loves art heist movies. American Animals is literally one of her favorite movies of all time. So much so that we have been to see that book from that movie. I was less keen on it. I don't think it's bad by any means. I think he gives an incredible performance. It's just not my type of movie. I think that's the nicest thing I can say. It's just quite slow, quite deliberate.
It is slow.
And I do not like movies with a jazz score. The jazz in this movie is wobbling, and it's one of those films that when you're watching it, you can admire it and say, "Wow, this is really good." I do not like this. That's what that movie was like for me. But I like Josh O'Connor. I think
you didn't enjoy watching him hide his painting in the roof of a barn for about 5 minutes.
No, I didn't. Nor did I enjoy seeing him unscrew the side of an art exhibition for a good 2 minutes, and then slowly reach in and take a figurine, put it in his glasses case. It's just not my type of thing. I think that's the nicest way I can say it. As it's the end of the year, though, well, the start of a new year, Neil, I do feel we should probably ask you, what was your favorite movie of 2025? And now the year is over.
It's difficult because I don't want to say this film because of recency bias, but probably Marty Supreme pipped it at the last. I think Pillion is up there. I Swear is up there. Sinners is up there. I think we had a really good year of films. But I think in terms of just excitement coming out of the cinema, probably Marty Supreme.
I'm going to go with, and mine isn't recency bias, I'm going to go with, I still think Sinners is my favorite movie of the year, mainly because, even it's got the Dusk Till Dawn vibe going on. If the vampires had never turned up, I wouldn't have been bothered. I would have been quite happy just watching a movie about 2 twins setting up a jazz club in the south of America. I was blown away by that movie. It remains my favorite. It's my favorite movie of the year, and I only gave 2 films 5 stars last year on Letterboxd. One was Sinners. Can you guess what the other one was?
Weapons?
No, although Weapons is in my top 10 of the year. It was K-pop Demon Hunter. It's the only other movie I gave 5 stars to.
Nice. And that was when you went to see it at the sing-along events, I imagine.
That was just from watching it at home, Neil. So imagine how much I would have enjoyed it if I'd have seen it on the big screen.
Yes. Well, I mean, let's hope Netflix change their minds on big screen outings. Because, I mean, bizarrely, they've just put Stranger Things out in the cinema and it did like $30 million.
Yeah, I know. And now they're talking about, what, if they are successful in buying Warner Brothers 17-day exclusivity windows for theaters, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
that's not a window.
no, I don't understand. I mean, 40 days, which I think is the current one, is bad enough. Like, movies should be in cinemas, you know. That's how these things are meant to be enjoyed. No offense to you. I mean, you've got a great TV. It's not the same. That's
No.
literally what we were talking about with F1. Like, it's not the same. And if you take these things out of cinemas, people are going to choose convenience. And I think Ted Sarandos, when he says things like, we're just letting the consumer decide, they're, yes, they are, but they're also undermining the value of the art slightly, in that you should want to pay for these experiences to, and to have them in the best venue possible. Anyway, cinema rant over, cinema versus streaming rant over.
I think from a financial point of view, I also think they're leaving money on the table. I mean, you just can't generate as much money in 17 days. And like you say, as soon as it's available on Netflix, people are just going to go, we'll just watch it on there then. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, you had what, a 6-week minimum theatrical window? It was probably more. And then it only after that, it went to rental video. So you could just rent it from the video shop. Then it went, after another period of time, it went to purchase on video. And then I think it was at least 12 months then before it would come on to, say, Sky Movies. And then you had to wait 2 years before it made it to free-to-air TV.
It's wild, isn't it? Because like I was on Instagram the other day, and they were talking about how quickly BBC One in 1992 managed to get one of the biggest blockbusters ever as its Christmas movie, and they were talking about this being such an event for television. They got Batman. And it took 3 years to get it. And people are like, how did they get it so fast? And you're like, now films are on streaming. I mean, sometimes I turn on the TV and it's like, is that film available to, well, I can watch that at home now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's mad.
I love the cinema. I love going to the cinema, but quite often it's cheaper to rent it at home. And, as I was saying, like, people do choose the convenient option, and you do yourself a disservice. And I do it. Everyone does it. But like, go to the cinema.
Yes, definitely go to the cinema. I went to the cinema today. I saw The Housemaid.
Oh, thoughts?
It was fun.
Well, they've just announced a sequel, haven't they? So
it was pulpy nonsense, and it was fun. I mean, if you are aware of Paul Feig's body of work, he's not strayed very far.
Is it?
It was less of it's kind of an erotic thriller vibe. I went to, when I was down at Slate Days down in London, sort of presentations from all the distributors. The Lionsgate were very much selling it as like a return to the sort of erotic thriller of the 90s. And I would say either we've become very desensitized to that sort of thing, or there just wasn't very much raunchiness in it, to be honest. There was a couple of sex scenes with Sydney Sweeney and the lead guy, who I forgot the name of. And they were kind of racy, but to be honest, if you've seen her sex scenes in Euphoria, they are more graphic. So it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. 2 hours in the cinema were fun, and Amanda Seyfried is great in it. And God, she looks amazing for 40 odd. Like she looks fantastic.
I mean, a friend saw it. I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to comment. But a friend saw it, and he had exactly the same criticism as you. He was sold it as, the year's steamiest thriller, and then said it was quite tame.
Yeah, in terms of the steaminess, it definitely was tame. And Amanda Seyfried is exactly 40, but she looks fantastic. But yeah, it wasn't there wasn't a lot of steaminess, but it was fun. It was loads of fun. If you're going in expecting like high art, then you'll be disappointed. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's based on a book, so a lot of people will have known what was going to happen going in. I didn't have a clue. I just had fun in the cinema.
I don't think I've ever gone to a Paul Feig movie and expected a masterpiece, except of course for the Ghostbusters reboot. So I do feel we should probably talk as well, because I know we both saw this, The Ballad of Wallace Island, but I actually made it all the way through, Neil. Would you like to explain?
So it was on my list of films I wanted to watch on my BAFTA View before voting, because the first round of voting had opened. So we're sort of shortlisting for Best British film. So I wanted to give it a watch. So I put it on, and and my wife and daughter. I thought this is the sort of film my wife and daughter will enjoy. It's a sort of musically film. They didn't vibe with it. I don't know if it was the mood of at the time. Everyone was a bit tired, but they didn't vibe with the sort of Tim Key's offbeat humor. And we turned it off just as Kerry Mulligan arrived, basically.
So you didn't
We
even
ended up
get
turning it off.
to the meat.
No, so didn't even. I was like, that. We've just watched the preamble. We've not got to the film yet. But yeah, it wasn't their sort of speed.
Well, it was my speed. I thought it was brilliant. This is the type of movie that's made for me, in my opinion. I found it really funny. I like Tim Key an awful lot. I cried at the end. I won't spoil the ending for you. But like I was really enjoying the film. You know, having a good laugh at the awkwardness of the whole situation of a millionaire forcing his favorite folk band to reunite is quite a funny idea for a movie. But then it just takes this turn in the third act. And it's one of them where you know you're going to go, like, you know, you can feel like the lump in your throat and you're like, no, I think I can style this out. And then during the concert, that's what I started just bawling. So I really enjoyed it. Probably wouldn't make my top 10 of the year, but a fun movie. And I think your family missed out, Neil.
I think we'll probably wrap up pretty much there. I think we've probably rattled on enough. What are you excited to see next? I am excited because Hamnet is out tomorrow and I can finally go and see if it's as sad as everyone says.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Hamnet. No, I haven't seen it yet. I think that's probably something I'll be watching this weekend. However, a invite for a movie hit my inbox the other day, like 10 tons of bricks. Primate, a horror movie about a rabid chimp.
No.
I'm excited. I didn't think it'd be your speed, Neil. Maybe you should show your wife and child that next time. Maybe that would be more their speed than the Ballad of Wallace Island. But no, Hamnet and Primate are probably going to be my next two movie watches.
I think mine will be Hamnet. Then we've got 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which have you seen?
I have seen.
And you still can't talk about?
I still can't talk about. So I think I can, again, share a social reaction. I think I can say it's good, but that's about it.
Okay, so I'm excited for that. Rental Family, I'm quite excited for. If you really want to, apparently they're re-releasing all of the Lord of the Rings films in a couple of weeks as well. All three.
Are they?
All three randomly.
I mean, I'd be tempted. It's been a while since I've been to Middle Earth.
And then interestingly, I don't know if I'll go and see it, but Saipan's out in 3 weeks as well, and I think that'll be interesting. With Steve Coogan playing
oh God,
Mick
yeah,
McCarthy.
That's it, yeah.
Having a big argument with someone else playing Roy Keane.
You know what? I might go see that, just because I bloody love Steve Coogan.
Yeah, and that's out the same week as History of Sound, so a bit more Paul Mescal. If you've not had enough Paul Mescal in Hamnet, you can go and see him again in History of Sound.
And of course, you know, if you need even more Paul Mescal. No, I'm mixing up my handsome rat boys there. Sorry.
Yeah, and you've got Josh O'Connor in that as well, so you know.
Oh, do you? Excellent.
Double whammy of British in It Boys. I do worry that Josh O'Connor's going to be slightly oversaturated soon, because I think he is in about 10 films next year, including the new Steven Spielberg one, which no one knows anything about yet.
Oh, the UFO one.
Well, we don't know what's called Declaration Day or something.
Yeah. You know what? I'm excited. Steven Spielberg rarely misses, so I'll go watch them. I also disagree. I don't think you can be oversaturated. I think, like, obviously people turn on you, like we turned on Taika Waititi and we turned on Pedro Pascal. But I think as long as you're not irritating, like Taika Waititi ended up being, you can get past it. Everyone still loves Pedro. The hardcore Pedro fans are still into him.
Yeah, Jude Law had it back in the day as well. I think he had 3 films come out within about 3 weeks of each other, and people were like, "There's too much Jude Law." And he's like, "It's not my fault. I filmed them like 2 years apart."
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, like, you know, I don't believe in it, or I refuse to believe in it, even though it is probably real.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Margaret Qualley's another one who seems to be popping up in literally everything.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. Maybe we shouldn't just list. Maybe listing stars we think are overexposed doesn't make for scintillating listening, Neil.
Possibly not, but just to wrap up, you went and saw Goodbye June, and I know both you and Emily were saying how well written it was.
Well,
I think we've already talked about the fact. My immediate question on the WhatsApp was, does he have a famous dad? Being that he was 20 years old, like, do they have famous parents? And it turns out the famous parents were indeed Kate Winslet, who directed the film, and Sam Mendes. Now, Kate Winslet, in her infinite wisdom, has come out and defended her son as not being a Nepo baby, because she doesn't like that term, and saying that he didn't get any sort of leg up from her being his mum and Sam Mendes being his dad. Now, the rest of what she said, I kind of agreed with. Like, you still have to have talent. You still have to prove yourself. So someone like Margaret Qualley, loads of people will not know she's Andy McDowell's daughter.
Right.
And I'm sure that has helped her, but she wouldn't still be getting as much work as she does if she wasn't great. But no doubt, Andy McDowell being her mum gave her a leg up.
It's ridiculous. Like, go the Jack Quaid route. Jack Quaid owns the fact that he's a Nepo baby. You know,
Yeah.
his mum is Meg Ryan. You know, his dad is Dennis Quaid. And he just says, yeah, they got me in, you know, and then I was talented and I went far. And you know what? I don't blame anyone for using their access or, you know, their connections to get their kids a leg up in an industry, especially a competitive one like filmmaking or journalism or whatever it may be. But don't pretend that that he would have, as a first-time filmmaker, you know, who wrote this for, as they said in the Q&A of the film we were at, you know, he wrote this, or the initial draft, for homework for a script writing class. Don't pretend that, regardless of how good that first initial draft was, that is getting made unless you can say, oh, by the way, do you know who my mum is? And do you know who my dad is? Like, that opens doors. Or, you know, even if it's something as simple as, you know, Sam turning to someone and saying, oh, did you know my boy's written something? Do you mind just taking a look at it? And they take a look at it and go, you know, this is pretty good. That, you know, I'm not saying that Sam Mendes sat down and went, here's what we're going to do, you know, or that, you know, they brought in their friends to help him coach him through. It's just, be aware of your privilege, I think, is probably what I'm saying here.
Yeah, but also, she directed it. Kate Winslet was the director. Like,
yeah.
It's not like he went out on his own and found a director and found a production company and touted it about. His mum literally directed it. And like you say, you still got to have the talent, and I do not begrudge her at all. I just think doing an interview and saying that her kids have not had a leg up because of who their parents are is just a bit mad.
Yeah, it is. It's daft. Let's be honest. It's just daft.
Yeah, but parents are allowed to be daft every now and again, I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
Right, I think that's enough for today. And next week we'll talk about, 2 weeks' time, we'll talk about some more filmy stuff. I imagine we'll have some full program announcements from Glasgow. We'll be very close to the full program announcement from Manchester Film Festival. So we'll be able to chat all things UK film, and there's a lot that we probably will have watched by then, and that you have already watched and can then talk about.
Yes, I will be legally allowed to tell you the things that I have seen.
So everyone look forward to that, and we will see you next time between screenings. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, like and subscribe and do all those things that people are meant to tell you to do, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.